I'm going to start by asking a question. Where would you go to find the top weight loss diet for 2020? Let me say it one more time. Where would you go to find the top weight loss diet for 2020? I'm a consultant dietitian. I have a specialist interest in weight management. So today, I'd like to speak to you about what's trending in the world of social media in relation to health and nutrition, and who our influencers really are. So let me open up the Diet Emporium. When I talk about diet, I'm specifically talking about weight loss. So I'm not looking at the diets that are helping people manage their diabetes or any other chronic condition. On social media, diet is all about losing weight. So, some of you may have heard these diets, some of you may be on these diets, or know someone that's done a diet. This morning, I did the cleanse. I got up, I rushed in the shower, 2 minutes and I was out. I'm cleansed. But a cleanse diet means something completely different in weight management. It means having something to clean our insides. But that sits uncomfortably with me because as far as I know and what medical training has taught us, the only two things that will clean your insides are your liver and your kidneys. Should any of these fail to clean anything, you'll be taking a trip to hospital very, very quickly. We also look at diets that remove a particular food group. So we've got things like the Atkins diet, the paleo, low GI. All of these remove a major food group. Well, of course, if we're going to take a food group out, we're going to lose weight, especially if we don't replace it with anything else. I was in the supermarket the other day and I saw a packet of bacon rasher crisps and they said vegan. I was like, oh, I'm not sure if someone's trying to offend the vegan population here, but how? Why would a packet of crisps need a vegan label? Went down to get my rice and I saw it said gluten-free. Well, rice has never had gluten in it to start with. It's like labelling water as gluten-free. My daughter has a nut allergy. She picked up a packet of a product that had nuts in it and she said, Mummy, look at this. It says it may contain nuts. I'm like, no, darling, it's 100% nuts. It's made of nuts. We're getting confused with our labelling. So what other diets are there? There's things about celery juice. There are things about changing the pH in your body. Vegan is known as a diet. So if I look at some of these in a little bit more detail, I can tell you where the cause for concern happens. So let's talk about celery juice, for example. There's a huge trend for celery juice nationwide. Celery juice has been claiming to cure lots of things like chronic fatigue syndrome, diabetes. They say it helps to lose weight. But what really gets to me is it helps to cure cancer. And in my mind, why are all these people going through awful cancer treatments with horrendous side effects if they can just have celery juice? And why have we not got celery juice on prescription if it works? It has fantastic claims. Many magical things can happen with celery juice, like curing depression. Why is this important? Because when you are in a hospital setting and you sit and talk to some of your consultants and your clients, one of the things that they will talk about is, have you heard about celery juice? Can you tell me if this actually works? And we take a step back. We know that someone is out there looking for something that really will work for them. And we have to tell them, unfortunately, it's just a trend. There is no science behind it, so please don't stop your treatment. There have been incidences where people have stopped vigorous cancer treatment and gone to something which is meant to be a little bit more gentler on their system. What else is celery juice doing? It can cure depression. It's sad when we're talking about mental health issues and celery juice, because if someone's unable to get out of their home and they think celery juice might help, the one thing they do have access to is social media and their phones. So they can go online, they can scroll, they can look at the benefits, and they can start drinking this. In 2 to 3 weeks or a month later, they decide that there's no beneficial effect, but that person that's suffering with mental health illnesses has just tried something that has not worked for them. We just took them down one more notch. So when things like celery juice do trend, all health professionals are talking about it. We're debating about it. Where do these trends actually come from and how harmful are they for our own patients? I mentioned alkaline water and diets. Now, our stomach is acidic. Nothing changes that. So whatever you drink, it's going to meet your acid stomach and it's going to change. So all the alkaline water will absolutely have no beneficial effect apart from giving you some expensive urine. And my final one is about vegan. I don't see veganism as a diet. I've always seen it as a way of life, but we're in January and everyone's doing veganuary. So for me, anyone doing that for a month, you're essentially on a diet. And as much as you want to call it a vegan diet, you're basically on a turkey detox. We just had Christmas, so I can only assume that that is where the notion of I'm going to cleanse myself and do veganuary comes from. My interest lies in weight management, but it also lies in the health of people that come to see me. So if anyone decides to see me because they want to turn vegan, I will usually look them up and down and just make sure they don't have leather shoes or a beautiful fur coat and they're not carrying their crocodile handbag, at least when they come to see me. Because then I question ethics. Where are we going? Why are you deciding to turn vegan? There are lots of benefits, but you came to the dietitian, so she's only ever going to tell you about which vitamins and minerals you may end up deficient in, and also how we're going to supplement this diet with everything else. If it's done incorrectly, and I've already highlighted that, a packet of bacon flavour crisps are vegan, then you can become deficient very, very quickly while jumping on a trend, and you don't know the implications of this trend. So I've mentioned all the diets. Some are my favourites, some are not. I absolutely adore the dairy-free. I've tried all their products, and I think it's a booming market. It's only great if you really can't tolerate dairy for whatever reason. If you're doing it for a trend, you will become deficient. So who are the influencers? Who would you go to if there was a problem? My first call is my GP. So if I have any aches, pains, cough, any major problem, the first place I'd like to go to is my GP. So I went to my GP friends and I said, does anyone ever come to talk to you about weight management? And they were like, what do you mean? I said, well, does someone say in the 7-minute appointment, can you tell me how to lose weight? Or in the 7 minutes that you have, can you help me become vegan? Or can we do a quick cleanse while we're here? No. You don't go to your health professional for that. So who do you go to? Under the term nutrition and health and well-being, there are lots of experts. We have dietitians, nutritionists, nutrition gurus, you have nutritional therapists, but who's regulated? There is only one regulated profession, and they are the dietitians. Dietitians are the only professionals that can assess, diagnose, and then treat any chronic condition. But it just so happens at the moment, some of us are sitting on Instagram because we're having to figure out what is actually going on and where our clients are getting all this information from. So we are influencers in one way. I influence a lot of my friends, especially if I'm out and someone asks me, how do you get away with eating that and stay so slim? I do look at them and I think, one, you've just made a judgment on what I'm eating, and two, you're assuming that I eat a Magnum for breakfast, lunch and dinner. This is just one moment in time. So it is easy to influence people. So you've got your GP, you've got your health professionals. Who else are the influencers? Well, for me, my hairdresser is, the chiropractor is, my mum, my dad, my children. They all influence how we eat. Everyone's got an opinion on nutrition. And that in itself makes you an expert. If you've got an opinion, it means you've looked into something. It means you genuinely believe it. And if we're going to believe something, we're going to become opinionated. And the best place to put your opinion is on social media, because nobody can stop you from doing that. So how do we control this? How do we control all these opinions that are flying around and causing harm in some instances? There is something called a bias. So when we look at something and we almost want to believe it, we do that. We would believe that something like celery juice can cure things. The reason we believe it is it probably aligns with our own values. And if something does align with your values, you're more likely to hold on to it and think, yep, that's going to work. So we need to take a step back. We really do, because the dangers are massive. I know lots of young girls, teenage girls, that have started drinking detox teas or detox teas, however we want to call it. These teas give you instant results. They make you lose weight, but the way they do it is you get a bit of diarrhea, you get a lot of diarrhea, and the diarrhea lasts for a few days while you're drinking it. So of course you're going to lose weight. You jump on the scales the next day, you've lost a whole load of water weight, and you're dehydrated. So maybe if we took the detox teas and the celery juice and we put them together, we could have a new business model that works. However, what the label doesn't say is these teas can actually cause unwanted pregnancies. They mess with oral contraceptives. And it takes no health professional to tell you that your summer body will not be made in any labour ward of a maternity unit. That's not where you're going to get it, no. So while you will lose weight, and you might walk out with another 7 pounds in your hands, it's not the right way forward. It's not the right advice. So everything on social media needs to be taken with caution. We can't stop people from selling or promoting their products. We can't stop people from, saying things work. And if you want it to, you will hop onto that bandwagon. So we always say, take a step back and just think about it. Critically appraise something. What most dietitians do is we take science and we make it practical. Nutrition isn't a trend. It's not a trend and it never will be. Nutrition is science. We have to interpret it as science. There is no trendy weight loss out there. I'm still looking for it because I want to promote it myself. Everyone wants the next day result. And this is why Prime is one of your biggest features on the phone. Everyone wants, can we get it in 2 hours? You can't. Weight loss doesn't happen in 2 hours. It doesn't happen in 2 days. It might not even happen in 2 years. So I'll leave you with that thought. Where would you go to look for the top diet for 2020 when it comes to weight loss? Thank you.